Throughout the ages, history has been shaped not only by the stories we remember, but also by the countless whispers about lost cities, vanished civilizations, and the fragments of forgotten knowledge that linger in the shadows. These whispers echo through the corridors of time, hinting at secrets buried beneath layers of dust and legend, waiting to be uncovered by those curious and brave enough to seek them out. Among the most intriguing of these whispers is the legend of the Book of Adam and Eve, a manuscript shrouded in mystery, spoken of in hushed tones by scholars and seekers alike. This book, according to ancient tales, is not just another relic of the past, but a key to understanding the very dawn of humanity. The Book of Adam and Eve was said to hold the raw, unfiltered account of humanity's first days on Earth. Its pages, if they ever truly existed, would have captured the earliest hopes, fears, and dreams of our ancestors. Imagine the weight of such a document, a record of the first footsteps, the first words, and the first heartbreaks of humankind. Picture, if you will, a fragile scroll hidden away for millennia, its secrets protected by time and circumstance. This scroll, according to legend, detailed the struggles and triumphs of the first man and woman, Adam and Eve, as they navigated a world both wondrous and terrifying, a world where every day brought new challenges and discoveries. They faced hunger, cold, and fear for the very first time, their every emotion raw and untested. The darkness of night was unfamiliar, the howls of distant beasts a constant reminder of their vulnerability. Yet in the flickering light of their small fire, they found the courage to endure, to hope, and to dream of a future beyond mere survival. The book was more than a simple story. It was a chronicle of survival, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Each line, each faded word was a window into the minds of those who came before us, revealing their ingenuity, their fears, and their unwavering determination to persevere against all odds. Over the centuries, the search for this elusive text became an obsession for many. Scholars, adventurers, and dreamers scoured ancient libraries, sifted through forgotten ruins, and pored over cryptic references in other manuscripts, all driven by the hope that the Book of Adam and Eve might one day be found. Fragments in ancient texts, scattered across continents and centuries, seemed to point to its reality. These tantalizing clues, enigmatic symbols, half-remembered stories, and mysterious references kept the legend alive, fueling the imaginations of those who longed to uncover the truth. For many, the Book of Adam and Eve was not mere folklore, but a tangible work, cherished and revered by early communities. It was believed to hold wisdom passed down through generations, a sacred link to the origins of humanity itself. The very thought of finding this document was electrifying, a discovery that could change everything we thought we knew about our past. The possibility of holding in one's hands the words of the first humans was enough to inspire awe and wonder in even the most skeptical of hearts. Such a manuscript, if found, would have the power to reframe our understanding of good, evil, and the very nature of what it means to be human. It would challenge our assumptions, invite new questions, and perhaps even offer answers to mysteries that have haunted us for millennia. And so, the stage was set for a remarkable rediscovery in literary history, a journey into the heart of legend, where the boundaries between myth and reality blur, and where the whispers of a lost manuscript continue to beckon us toward the unknown. The Book of Adam and Eve, also known as The Conflict of Adam and Eve with Satan, is an ancient text shrouded in mystery and reverence. Its pages, worn and fragile, have survived the passage of centuries, whispering stories that reach far beyond the familiar lines of Genesis. This book offers a unique window into the earliest days of humanity, exploring the struggles and emotions of Adam and Eve after their expulsion from paradise. Preserved with great care by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the Book of Adam and Eve became a vital supplement to the biblical narrative. For generations, monks and scholars pored over its words, seeking wisdom and guidance. In Ethiopia, where ancient traditions endure, this text was cherished as a spiritual treasure, offering insights that the canonical scriptures left untouched. As the early church sought to unify its teachings and establish a single authoritative scripture, many ancient writings were carefully examined. Some were chosen to be included in the Bible, while others, despite their popularity and depth, were set aside. The process was complex and often contentious, as leaders debated which stories best reflected their faith. The Book of Adam and Eve was ultimately sidelined, considered by some to be too elaborate or speculative. Its vivid descriptions and emotional depth set it apart from the more restrained style of Genesis. Yet for many, this was precisely what made the book so compelling. It dared to imagine the untold struggles of the first humans. The book answered a question that Genesis left unexplored. What happened to Adam and Eve after they left the garden? How did they cope with their loss, their guilt, and the harsh new world they faced? These were questions that resonated deeply with early believers, who saw their own struggles reflected in the story. For early Christian communities, the story of Adam and Eve's suffering was not just a tale from the distant past. It was a mirror of their own hardships. The book's vivid portrayal of pain, regret, and hope made it deeply relatable. People found comfort in knowing that even the first humans, created by God's own hand, were not immune to suffering. The narrative showed that Adam and Eve, like all people, faced moments of despair and temptation. Their journey was marked by doubt, fear, and longing for redemption. Through their trials, the book explored the universal human experience of wrestling with weakness and searching for meaning in the face of adversity. More than just a story, the Book of Adam and Eve served as a manual for spiritual warfare. It offered guidance on resisting evil, enduring hardship, and maintaining faith in the darkest of times. Monks and believers alike turned to its pages for inspiration, drawing strength from the perseverance of Adam and Eve. The world outside Eden was described in haunting detail, a desolate alien landscape stripped of the beauty and abundance of paradise. This stark setting underscored the magnitude of Adam and Eve's loss, and the daunting challenge of forging a new life in an unforgiving world. Adam and Eve were portrayed as lost, like children wandering in a dark and unfamiliar forest. Their vulnerability and confusion were palpable, making their story all the more poignant. The book invited readers to imagine themselves in the same position, facing the unknown with only faith to guide them. This raw depiction of human vulnerability gave the book its enduring power. It stripped away the mythic distance of the Genesis account, presenting Adam and Eve as real people, flawed, frightened, and profoundly human. Their struggles became a source of empathy and connection for all who read their story. In the end, the Book of Adam and Eve offered a stark, unvarnished vision of exile. It did not shy away from the pain and loneliness of being cast out, but instead embraced it as a fundamental part of the human journey. Through its pages, readers found not only a story of loss, but also a testament to resilience, hope, and the enduring search for redemption. For centuries, the book was a ghost in Western libraries. The complete story was locked in the ancient Ge'ez script of Ethiopia. Rediscovery was a slow, academic process. In the 19th century, explorers found libraries in Ethiopian monasteries. Among these treasures was the complete text of the conflict of Adam and Eve with Satan. Scholars like August Dillman translated these works, opening a window into ancient thought. The whispers became a clear voice, speaking across the ages. The discovery was made with a pen, not a shovel. Translators grappled with an ancient language and cultural context. Their work brought the world of Adam and Eve back to life. The impact was profound, offering a narrative both familiar and shockingly new. Leaving the garden was not just a simple departure, it was a violent expulsion into a world of desolation and uncertainty. The lush beauty and safety of paradise vanished behind them, replaced by a harsh, unforgiving wilderness. Every step away from Eden was a step into the unknown, a world stripped of comfort and filled with fear. The Book of Adam and Eve paints a chilling, almost haunting picture of this moment. Its ancient words capture the heartbreak and terror that filled their hearts as they realized the full weight of what they had lost. The text describes not just a physical exile, but a spiritual and emotional one, a severing from the divine presence that had once surrounded them. The earth itself seemed to turn against them. The sun beat down with relentless heat, scorching the ground and their skin. When night fell, darkness brought new terrors, strange sounds, chilling winds, and the constant fear of what might be lurking just beyond sight. The world was stark, frightening, and utterly alien. They were utterly alone, surrounded by emptiness, tormented by the memory of paradise. The beauty and peace they once knew became a source of pain, a reminder of what could never be regained. Their hearts ached with longing, and every moment was colored by sorrow. Overwhelmed by grief, they wept for days, their tears falling onto the barren earth. The weight of their loss was so great that they wished for death, believing that oblivion would be better than this endless suffering. Their cries, echoed in the emptiness, unanswered and unheard. Their first instinct was to plead with God, begging for an end to their pain. They knelt on the hard, rocky ground, hands clasped in desperate prayer, hoping for mercy or release. But the silence that followed was heavy, and they realized that their journey had only just begun. This raw despair is a central theme of their struggle. It was not just physical hardship, but a deep, soul-crushing anguish that threatened to consume them. They sat apart, lost in their own thoughts, weighed down by regret and hopelessness. They were like newborns in a hostile world, unprepared for even the simplest tasks of survival. Every action, finding shelter, searching for food, learning to protect themselves, was a painful lesson learned through trial and error. The wilderness was unforgiving, and they had no guide but their own instincts. Every aspect of survival was a painful lesson. Their hands became blistered and raw as they struggled to light a fire or gather food. Hunger gnawed at them, and exhaustion was a constant companion. Each day brought new challenges, and every small victory was hard won. Haunted by their mistake, their guilt was palpable. The memory of their choice, the act that led to their exile, hung over them like a shadow. Regret filled their eyes, and silence often settled between them, heavy with unspoken sorrow. In this vulnerability, they were easy prey for Satan. Their isolation and despair made them targets for temptation and doubt. The enemy watched from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, to exploit their weakness and deepen their suffering. He saw their misery as an opportunity, a chance to sow further discord and pain. Their suffering was his gain, and he relished every moment of their torment, whispering lies and feeding their fears. Their struggle for survival became more than a fight for food and shelter. It became a war for their souls. In the midst of darkness and despair, they faced a choice: to give in to hopelessness or to find the strength to endure, to seek redemption and meaning even in a world of sorrow. In their despair, God did not abandon them. An angel guided them to the Cave of Treasures, their first home. It was a sanctuary, a place of spiritual significance. Inside, God gave them a promise and a prophecy. He promised a Redeemer would come from their descendants. To seal this promise, he gave them symbols of hope, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The Cave of Treasures became the center of their new life. They established the first rituals of worship there. This act of worship was a declaration to Satan and the world, but even this sanctuary was not entirely safe. Satan sought to defile it, luring them out with deception. The Cave of Treasures was the first battlefield in a long war. The Book of Adam and Eve reveals Satan's relentless attacks. This was a psychological war against two grieving people. Satan appeared in forms designed to exploit their fears. As a beautiful angel, he twisted their hope for forgiveness. In monstrous forms, he sought to break their spirit with fear. These were not nightmares, they were physical manifestations. Satan preyed on their guilt, pushing them toward despair. He sought to sever their connection to hope. His goal was to prove humanity unworthy of love or redemption. Their exile was a constant state of siege. The conflict between good and evil is a real war. Satan's fall and humanity's fall are linked. By destroying Adam and Eve, Satan sought a cosmic victory. The souls of Adam and Eve were the first battlefield. Satan's strategy was to wear them down. Each temptation was a battle, each resistance a spiritual strengthening. Their strength came from their connection to God. Divine help arrived in their moments of deepest despair. The war for the human soul is not fought alone. This ancient account frames human history in this ongoing war. Every human is born onto this battlefield. The book empowers us by revealing our strength to resist. Adam and Eve's struggle is a mirror for us. The fundamental battles they faced are the same today. The struggle between hope and despair is universal. Satan's deceptions are sophisticated but unchanged. The battle has moved to our minds and hearts. Guilt and regret are powerful weapons. Forgiveness and self-acceptance are acts of spiritual warfare. The conflict is a living reality. Every choice we make is part of this ancient war. The book acts as a field guide to this struggle. Our daily battles have cosmic significance. The rediscovery of the Book of Adam and Eve is profound. It reminds us our world is a battleground. Evil is an active force at war with humanity. This message is sobering but empowering. The legacy of our first parents is resilience. They fell but got up again, enduring terror and sorrow. Their legacy is a blueprint for every generation. The story teaches discernment and the importance of sanctuary. We do not fight alone. Grace is available to all. The book is a story of hope forged in despair. It insists darkness will not win. The rediscovery is a call to awaken and fight for the light.